Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining our live session. My name is Jennie Myers.
I'm Deanna Scherrer. I am with a creative consultancy here in Boise called Against.
Yes, same here. So today we are joining because we are going to talk all about AI and creativity. AI is the hot topic everybody's talking about. Obviously, you're probably overhearing about it, but we wanted to talk a little bit about how we think about it, how we work with it, how it is integrated into our daily lives at our agency, and that's it. That's the gist. That's what we're going to talk about here. So, Deanna, do you want to talk a little bit about like your background and how you show up at Against, and we can kind of go back and forth on that part.
Yeah, so my role, official title at Against, is I am the Director of Creative Strategy, and so I am so fortunate to get to be involved in like every single step of the process, all the way from initial research. Typically, how our process works is a client approaches us with some sort of problem. It can be a problem in marketing and branding and whatever it is their world is. And we dive in deep from research all the way through to coming up with a solution, whatever that looks like. And so I get to touch sort of every piece of that, from that initial research all the way through to final execution. And AI has become a really incredible tool all the way through that process.
Do you ever, so I get this, when I get in conversations with people as a creative person, I think everyone talks about how AI is going to take over our jobs and the robots are coming for us. And AI is obviously at the precipice of that. And like, do you have those conversations? Like, are your friends always asking, like, are you afraid that your job's going to go away?
100%. And like, I think one of my favorite parts of being asked that question is I'm getting asked that question oftentimes by people who like deal with numbers in their everyday lives. And the thing that always comes to mind is, it's like, of all the industries to be taken over by robots, why is everyone so focused on creativity specifically? When in reality, AI is so much better at processing more like binary information. For whatever reason, creativity has become a very central part of the conversation, but there are just certain aspects of creativity that I firmly believe AI will never be able to replace. And I don't know about you, but I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is not the first time that this has happened, where technology has advanced to the point of where it's changing the way people work and the way people do their jobs. And there's always this sense of instability when something like that happens, because it's, you know, the way that you used to show up at work and the daily tasks that you used to do change.
And I think about the internet all the time.
Yes.
Like, I remember, I was a little bit younger, but I remember when the internet first came onto the scene, or even when just digital programs came into the scene, like specifically looking at the creative field. And there was so much fear around that, but in reality, creative people are incredible at adapting and learning 100%. New technology. And if anything, we only get better at our jobs the more tools we have in our toolkits.
Yes,
so.
Underline, highlight, double check, absolutely.
Yeah.
Creativity is going to be fundamental. Creatives are the ones who thrive in these environments. They're the ones who thrive through change. We are comfortable in ambiguity. We're always going to ask those questions and find a way through. Now, it might impact, and it certainly has impacted the day-to-day tasks and how you're working on things, but certainly, like right now, I would say most people who are, at least in my experience, most people who are using AI use it to create efficiencies and to get to those really bad ideas fast, right? Like, it used to take us forever to get to those really bad ideas, and you'd spend all this time laboring over, this really crappy concept and working it out and doing storyboards and all that stuff, and only to find out that it's a terrible, terrible idea.
Totally.
Well, AI is helping to expedite that. You're getting to those really crappy ideas a lot faster. So, and I do think that is in general what, when you think about our clients or clients in general, right? And people, this is, I think, under the precipice of why people think that AI is going to take our jobs.
Right.
Because it has democratized access to the ability to be able to create things. Yeah. And absolutely, AI can help you create things, but it's based on like best practices, right?
Right.
And when you are, that's mid. Like, that's the middle of everything. Like, that's not creating anything ingenuitive,
Innovative, yeah.
Innovative, anything great.
Anything that breaks the rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to make a lot more people have the ability to create things that are, to use a word my teenager would use, mid.
Oh, God.
But it's not going to create anything, to your point, that's like genuinely innovative.
Yeah. Well, the way I always think about it is that, like, I kind of hinted at this earlier, but AI ultimately is informed by data. It's informed by information that already exists. And so I think what AI excels at in a lot of ways is sort of becoming an echo chamber, either an echo chamber of stuff that already exists on the internet or information that you're already feeding it.
Yes.
It's not necessarily great at coming up with its own ideas. And so when you get stuck in that echo chamber, what you're going to get out of it as a new product are just recycled ideas and stuff that's already been done before. And really what we're in the business of doing is that creative problem solving piece. And people come to us not to get ideas that already exist. They come to us to get new ideas that are a reflection of their brand, their organization, their product, whatever it is. And in order to get to those ideas, you need to have those original thoughts, those original.
Well, and based on strategy too.
Exactly.
So
yes,
anybody can generate the thing, but if the thing's not grounded in something that is like human-centered or insightful based off of the lived human experience, then it's
so,
God, what's the word? There's a word that I've been thinking of course, like on camera, that's what I'm gonna forget.
How it
these
goes.
words. I'm like,
well, you're reminding me of a question I had earlier kind of around this, which is, I feel like we're talking about a lot of the characteristics that AI does have. What are some of the characteristics that are like fundamentally human that AI could never replace? Like what are some of those like creative qualities that we're always going to bring to the table that AI can't?
Human empathy, taste.
I
think that, again, AI is the amalgamation of everything that already exists and everything that's already out there.
Right.
And there's a lot of crap out there that's not tasteful. It's not well done. I think genuinely, so obviously we work in marketing and advertising and people expect us to love advertising. And I hate advertising. Everybody does, right? We're all like hovering over that little skip ad button in YouTube until we can get to the thing that we actually want to watch, right? Advertising is like this tax that we have to pay as humans to get to the thing that we actually want to do. And that is because people are ignoring that there's a human being on the other side.
Right.
And that is what an AI is going to enable you to do, is to just create more of that stuff that ignores human beings. And you have to be able to relate to that human, like that genuine lived human experience.
Yeah, and it'll never be able to do that.
Yeah.
The other things that come to mind for me when I think about like what is it that AI will never be able to do are things like the ability to ask really good questions. And I think that gets back to your human empathy piece. I think one of the most powerful things that we do at Against as a creative consultancy is ask the right questions to learn and be able to solve the problem.
Right.
Like AI, you can ask it to ask questions, but again, it's sort of asking just like the same kinds of questions that you'd expect to be asked in any given industry. And so I think that's just another like facet of that human empathy piece that is really compelling and that is a superpower of creatives, is the ability to dig deeper.
Yes.
Through question asking. The other thing that I think about oftentimes is like looking at the world around us. Like, yes, AI is a reflection of all this incredible information on the internet, but it doesn't know how to tap into like that real world lived experience. Like right now we're working on a project for a brand. We're creating a new brand. And honestly, some of the greatest inspiration that I've gotten for it recently has been just stuff I've experienced in every time I go to a coffee shop or every time I go to a wine store. Like I'm seeing things that AI will never be able to perceive, and it's providing more inspiration than you could ever get just from like that one central.
Yeah, and I think that like that human perception and context, it's
right.
You know, if I were to summarize it into 3 words, I would say it's human empathy, taste, and context.
Yeah.
Those things are really challenging for AI to like be a great stunt double. And I forgot to ground us in where we were today. Today is, September 30th. 2025. So if you're watching this, in 2027 or 2028, and there are no longer human beings on the planet, then just know that at one point we were very hopeful and optimistic about the future. But what advice would you give to, so we're both instructors and teachers, like we have a history of doing that. I teach at Boise State, I teach a lot of young human beings, and they are really, a lot of them are really afraid of what's going to happen, and they feel unstable about the future and what kind of jobs they're going to have, and especially if they are pursuing a degree or a future in the creative industry. And like, what sort of advice do you? I know what I would tell the students, but what kind of advice would you give them
in terms of like how to enter this field for the first time,
or just
like
to help them navigate this space of you don't know what's going to happen in the future, and
it's a very valid fear for what it's worth. I mean, just in that anytime things change, it's natural to feel concerned. And I think, there's a lot of studies coming out around the fact that Gen Z is having a harder time now than ever finding entry-level jobs, because AI does make so many of those more like entry-level tasks that you need to sort of learn. It is making them more efficient and decreasing the need for those more entry-level jobs. So I understand where the concern comes from. I think oftentimes when you're starting out in your career, especially in the creative field, you get so focused on the tools. You get so focused on how do I execute this? And that's a very important piece of the puzzle. Like, you need to be technically good at what you do. But I think the thing that people oftentimes forget is the fact that really we're in the business of problem solving. I keep on saying this, and not to sound like a broken record, but I say it because it's important. And so when you're coming up as a designer, as a creative, as in advertising, marketing, whatever it is, I would really focus on getting better at learning how to ask good questions, learning how to dig deep into a problem, learning how to have human conversations and serve as like a consultant for whoever it is you're serving, working for, whoever your client is, and really focus on building those human-centered skills with creativity being the product.
Chef's kiss. Beautifully said. The other thing I tell them too is to lean, well, God, I hate that term, lean in. It almost escapes my mouth. But to, I guess, embrace artificial intelligence and play with it, right?
Definitely.
We're at this really interesting place in time that will never happen again, where everyone is learning. And when you think about when the internet first emerged on the scene, it was the early adopters, the people who were playing with it every day, who weren't intimidated by it, who were learning how to code and making horrible mistakes and making really, really ugly things. But they're the individuals who thrived and created innovative things that continued to improve the way that we navigate the internet and the products that we use, and SaaS products. So now is the time to play with those things and to not be intimidated. All right, we need to wrap up. I could talk about this for like hours and hours. We needed more time. I don't know why they only gave us 15
That felt
minutes,
like no time at all.
Okay, so thanks for watching. We are going to be right back, but we need to hear a note from our sponsors. So the people who make all of this happen, thank you.